Welcome back to the Sherman Podcast.
Welcome back to the Sherman Podcast.
What are we talking about today, Ben?
Today we're talking about just conventions.
Conventions. I miss them.
Fun, big things with lots of people doing interesting stuff. People are dressed up in interesting ways. There are booths where you can buy things from people.
So this podcast idea was actually my idea because I signed up for Vidcon Now, which is a virtual convention. Obviously, it's not the same thing. If you're listening to this, I did air quotes for that. But yeah, I'm excited about it. It's cool that Vidcon is even doing that because it's free. They didn't have to. They could have just canceled it. People who are holding on to hope, like myself, it's weird that we thought it could happen. There is still a pandemic, and things are not going to get better in that regard until next year. So I'm happy they're even doing something, but I thought that this would be a great opportunity to sort of reminisce and just talk about conventions in general. You know who actually made a video about conventions, Ben?
Who?
The Odd Ones Out made a video just called Conventions, and in parentheses it says, I miss them. And the video came out as I was reminiscing, and it made me so happy to see people feeling the same way. Not that I'm happy that they're also upset, but, you know, some sense of community. I have all of my... What are these even called? Lanyards? I didn't even realize how many I have. The first comiccon I went to was, I believe, freshman year of college. So I've only been doing this for 4 years, I believe. No, wait. Was it? No. Was it freshman year of college or senior year of high school?
Do you remember what the con was?
I'm trying to think. It was the one with the pineapple, and me and my sister went, and I drew the diamond insignia on my chest.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that? You talk about an experience you've had at a convention. I need to look this up because this is gonna annoy me.
So I've actually been to virtually no conventions.
I thought you've been to like 2 or 3.
Well, I mean, like, we went to VidCon together.
Yes.
My only other convention experience that I remember is also the first time I ever went to a convention, and I actually didn't get into the convention.
Oh, tell that story.
And so what it was my cousin, I think I was 12 years old at the time.
Oh, jeez.
And my cousin was in town, and she was, I think she's still like really into all sorts of anime and TV shows and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so the convention was comiccon, which is an anime specific convention, I believe. It was happening in downtown Portland. Mm-hmm. And so I think you needed to be like at least 12 years old to get in. So I was like, yes, I'm just old enough to get in. And so we spend, maybe 2 hours waiting in line to get in. And then we finally, I don't remember if we got all the way to the front of the door or not. But at one point I realized I didn't have an updated school ID with me.
Dude.
That would have had my birth date on it and been some sort of proof that I am the correct age to go.
So the only convention you went to was when we went to Vidcon London together?
I think so.
Also, plot twist, the first time I've ever been to a Comic-Con, which I don't have that lanyard for some reason, was 2017. So I started going to conventions as a sophomore. I thought it was freshman year because it was so early sophomore year. It was before I even started a YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
What? I keep forgetting that I started a YouTube channel more than a year after we started dating.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's weird because I didn't really remember it because I didn't vlog it, and I also wasn't into as many nerdy things as I am now. I was only into Steven Universe. I went to the panel, and I literally did not know what to do with myself, and I was also babysitting my sister. My sister was not as old as she is now, obviously. That's how time works. And I had to watch her because she kept looking at her phone, but also rushing way ahead of me, and these conventions are packed. And in 2017, the Javits Center was doing a whole, construction So it was even more packed than usual, and it's usually packed. But think of that, but half the size. It was a nightmare. So my first convention, actually, I didn't have a very good time.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Like, specifically having to, like, guide your sister through it.
Yeah. It was... Like, I loved the atmosphere right away. Not how musty and how crowded it was, but just the way they decorate and what catches your eye. It feels like you're walking into another world. Like, when I saw the SpongeBob pineapple to scale, like I was a little SpongeBob in the pineapple, I lost my shit. And it does upset me that my first time at a convention I didn't get to vlog. I should have started my channel earlier. But let's
all
talk
the lost
about
chances, missed opportunities.
These other conventions. What was my second convention I ever went to? Not that one. I think my second convention I ever went to was comiccon. So it's comiccon is okay. It's like a slight difference in spelling. So it's Comic Con. So that's like the super official huge one. But this is COMICONN, a show for the fans, by the fans. This was Foxwoods, Connecticut. Look at this. This lanyard is a little holographic. And
oh, that's cool.
This is everything I loved about Comic-Con, but in a smaller area with less people. So it was a dream. This is when me and my sister met Kate Flannery, who is the voice of Sadie's mom. Also, she plays... Oh my gosh, what's your character's name in The Office?
God, I do not watch The Office enough.
Meredith. Meredith in The Office.
Okay, yeah.
And I believe I'm forgetting something else. There's something else. There's another character that we love that she plays.
She's done a lot of stuff.
She's done a lot of stuff. And she was one of the sweetest people ever. I was cosplaying as Peridot in this one. I vlogged this one. This was the
I remember that cosplay.
The first convention I vlogged, and I thought my cosplay looked really wonky, but people were so hype about it. People were, every time I walked somewhere, people were like, Peridot! And it was just, the only thing that was weird about, I only remember two things being really weird at this experience, was I'm a very outgoing person, but for some reason, walking to the convention through the casino of boomers really freaked me out. I didn't like being looked at like I had 10 heads, but after I was surrounded by other weirdos, when I was walking to get pizza and shit, and people were looking at me, I'm like, yeah! I'm a nerd! This is my truth. So that was one negative, but that was spun into a positive. But then the other second thing that was actually a negative was, there was this guy dressed as the Joker that really scared the shit out of me. You know how people, like, get too into cosplay? There was this guy dressed as the Joker. I think I literally only glanced at him for 4 seconds, but those 4 seconds were enough for it to, like, stay with me for life. He was just doing this, like, really creepy smile at anyone who walked by him. And I was like, is he gonna shoot up the convention? Like, I was, like, really freaked out by him. He was probably just, weird actor person, but, kudos to him. Very convincing.
That's not
Joker.
As bad as it could have been. I remember years and years ago, there was a period of time on Reddit when you just constantly see all of these like videos and GIFs of people at conventions dressed up as Deadpool. And it was like, I feel like there must have been like the Deadpool movie had just come out or something, or maybe like the video game had just come out. But, like, everyone was dressing up as Deadpool, and all of these guys were using it basically just as an excuse to be complete assholes to other people.
That's so strange. All the videos that I've
seen,
being,
like, really creepy with women.
All of the videos that I've seen of people cosplaying as Deadpool, it's like they're just being funny. So,
yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of people who are, like, just being funny, but there's also a certain subset that were just using it as an excuse, because they're like, oh, Deadpool's a funny asshole, and then they forget about the funny part and just do the asshole part.
Yikes. But more positives about this convention. We got there and we got, obviously, this little lanyard, but then they also gave us a whole goodie bag full of stuff, and one thing was a comic book created by a lot of smaller artists. Super cool. And then we ended up buying a lot of original art there too. Really cool stuff. And it was so much fun. And there was a section that I loved. This should be a thing at more conventions. It was all foods inspired by different things. And that's what I like to say. So there was, I think, specific foods, desserty kind of foods inspired by Mario.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be submerged in a world, give me fun, cartoony foods as well. Foods is more than half of my experience. If I don't like the food there, I'm not going to like the convention, period. So that was my first one. And then moving on. Was ConnectiCon before or after Vidcon London?
Oh, jeez.
Before? No. It wasn't before. It was after. It was after. Because I
vaguely remember you, like, calling me from the car, like, on your way back from it. I remember I was, like, walking around on campus. And I know junior year I didn't live on campus.
You weren't?
So.
No, because ConnectiCon was in the summer.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
You were thinking of the original comiccon that happened sophomore year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sophomore year I lived on campus.
This is the strangest way to date things. I'm like, before my YouTube or after my YouTube, when Ben was living on campus or when he wasn't living on campus. Our sense of time is so screwed. So anyway,
you know what's crazy about actually just living on campus? So senior year was the only year that I lived in the same room 2 semesters in a row.
That is strange. And
Which is
you
really
didn't
weird.
and you didn't even get to finish it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the universe was just like, oh, Ben's getting really close to spending 2 whole semesters in the same room.
Sophomore year, you spent 2.
Oh my gosh, no, you're right.
That was a lame story with a lame ending. But you want to know, speaking of our sense of time being messed up, I was just about to say, you want to know how I knew this was after Vidcon London?
How?
Because, I'm going to talk about this after VidCon London, but little sneak preview. I cosplayed as Logan Sanders, and I remember getting into Thomas Sanders' uploads right after we came back from London. That's when the Intrusive Thoughts one came out. It was like as soon as we came back from London.
Yeah.
Anyway, VidCon London. My first and only VidCon, unfortunately. I have been wanting... This is the convention of all freaking conventions. VidCon is my favorite. I do love Comic-Con, don't get me wrong, but this is like my thing. I do everything on YouTube, and I've been watching YouTube since, I want to say like as soon as it came out. Dead ass. Like, I've always been a YouTube hoe since before. I trust and believe I've been wanting to go to the VidCon since the first ever VidCon. When was VidCon created? I believe like 2010, 2011. Yes, 2009, actually, because 2019 was the 10th annual VidCon. I know all the VidCon lore. I've been entering contests since I was little to be at VidCon. I've entered 2 contests on my Athena P channel. You can see them. I kept them up because I'm really proud of my entries, and I should have won.
Oh, yeah.
Deadass should have won.
The first VidCon was held July 9th to 11th in 2010.
What I said.
At the Hyatt Regency Century Plaza Hotel in Los Angeles.
I want to go to a California VidCon too, because I've never, ever been to California. And I want my first... This sounds ridiculous, but I want my first experience in California being not only to go to VidCon. I'll take that. That alone is great. VidCon being my first experience in California, but my first experience in California, I want it to be being a featured creator at VidCon, and I like speaking that out into the universe. I'm just putting it out there. But anyway.
That would be so cool.
VidCon London. This was a plan that we made before our study abroad trip was even finalized. We thought it was finalized. Turns out it wasn't, because the school loves to screw us over. But it's funny because we were studying at Lambda, London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts, and I actually had something the day this was happening. I weaseled my way out of rehearsal, which is a terrible thing to do. Future employers, if you're watching this, I will never ever do that. This was a special exception that will not happen again. And the second thing was that Saturday I was supposed to have my combat training, but I switched with somebody else. I don't know how it happened, but me and this person, they're like, you want to switch to earlier? I'm like, you want to switch to later? And it just happened. If somebody else got to that person earlier, I would have been screwed.
Yeah.
So yes, VidCon London. When I got there, it was, isn't it just called Expo Hall?
Oh, jeez.
It's my favorite place in the world. I should know what it's called.
Excel London.
Excel London. This building is beautiful. Did you have the same experience when you walked up to the doors of Excel, or was that just me? It might have just been me. When I walked up to those
No, I had that experience too.
Gorgeous. The area is beautiful. Probably one of the nicest places in London. Actually, I'm just going to say it was like my number one spot. And I loved a lot of places in London. But Excel...
I'm just looking at some pictures of the outside of the building right now, and I'm just like, oh, man.
I got
Memories.
butterflies when I walked up to this area. But it was funny because Ben and I were walking through, and VidCon London was all the way in the back, and we walked by a car convention. I made a little joke in my vlog that was like, that convention looks cooler. And that was before I got to VidCon, just because, I'm not gonna lie, when I was walking in, as much as I was taking in the actual building itself, I was so surprised that they shoved VidCon in the back. I thought that meant it was gonna be like in this small area, but looks can be deceiving because it was huge. On the inside,
it was really
not huge.
Spread out.
Yeah, and the first Friday was just for the creators and industry. So when Saturday rolled along and they opened up the expo hall downstairs, which was the biggest area, which is where we got slimed from Nickelodeon. That story is really funny too, because when we were waiting to be picked, it was us, these two 20-year-olds, and a bunch of little kids. And you got picked first, right?
I don't remember who got picked first.
I deadass think you got picked first. Sorry, I keep saying deadass today.
I don't remember.
I think you got picked first, and what was playing in my mind was like, oh my gosh, all these kids are looking at Ben like they want to kill him. If I get picked too, that is so embarrassing. Like, we cannot be the 20-year-old couple taking opportunities away from children. And then right after I had that thought, they called my number. And I'm like, well, do it for the vlog, I guess. Oh, and this is my wristband from VidCon. That is also where I met my friend, some guy called Jack, and that was also an amazing experience. When I studied abroad at London, it was my first time meeting internet friends. And I cannot believe, like, I'm 2 for 2. Like, both experiences went fucking amazingly. VidCon London was my favorite convention. Met Odd Out, talked with him at a creator talk thing. I gave him my business card, which I proceeded to say that I would be honored even if he wiped his ass with my business card, and that still holds true. He probably did. I loved VidCon London. I cannot say enough kind things about VidCon. I want to go back so badly. And if there's a TanaCon happening, I'm also going to go there just for free material. But yes, that was VidCon. Do you have anything to say about VidCon, Ben? I feel bad. I'm talking a lot. I didn't realize. I suggested this, and I didn't know that I was just going to be like, and these are my stories. Oh, I have so many good experiences. Screw you, Ben.
You just got a lot to say.
I have a lot to say.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add. It was fun. It was my first and only successful convention experience.
What was it like for you being at VidCon as somebody who's not as into YouTube?
The first day was definitely really overwhelming, and I was kind of just feeling very out of it, and just very disconnected from everything. So I was just like, this is a bunch of people who like their lives are built around YouTube, and I like don't really care about YouTube to that extent. I just watch videos that I like. I don't really try and do any of this.
I just support my girlfriend.
So I was feeling a little bit, I don't know, lonely in a sense.
Aw. I feel like once
mostly
the
just
expo
that first day, but then as soon as the expo hall opened up and I was able to like, we were walking around at all the booths and seeing all these really interesting stuff like tech demos, and like all sorts of cool T-shirts and merchandise to buy and all that. That was a lot of fun.
And Big Potato Games, who I used to have their little stuffed animal until my mom gave it to my dog as a chew toy. And I'm really pissed off about that, actually. The more I think about it, the more I regret that. Because she gave it to Melody, and Melody is, of course, like, and she looks so cute with it. And I was like, no, Mama, no, Mama. And I take it back, and I just see her face. Melody's face. And I'm like, it's not your fault that Mom gave this to you. And it would make you happy. And it already smells like shit. So, here you go. You stupid bitch. I was so mad about it. But it's fine. Also, at Excel London, not gonna lie, a lot of places in London don't have the best food. Excel London had really good food.
Yeah, they had pretty good food. They had a lot of different kinds of food.
Yeah. And I had, I wanted to say Chinese food, but I'm not sure. It was some kind of fried rice noodle stuff, and it was so good. I mean, not as good as Wing Wing. We'll talk about that another day. But so good. I mean, Excel really held up in every single possible way. And it's hard to make YouTuber-themed food, so I'll give VidCon that. They didn't have to bring me in the world that way. Although, it is welcome if they find out a way to do that. Yeah, I think that, honestly, you would have had more fun at VidCon if we went to the one in the United States, just because there would be more creators, there. We went to the first ever VidCon London, which means that there were not that many people there. We saw Rhett and Link live, which I keep forgetting about. I keep forgetting about it because it doesn't feel real. When they walked on stage, I was like, I am in the presence of, this sounds like an exaggeration, but they're YouTube royalty. I mean, there's no way of saying that without sounding like a fangirl, but it's true. They built an empire. They're both so tall. That has nothing to do with anything.
So tall.
They're so tall?
It's kind of scary how tall they are. And then
They're
it's like,
tall.
you look at them in their videos and you're just like, oh, Rhett's like really tall and then Link's not as tall. So you think Link is like, I don't know, like 5'9" or 5'10" or something, and that Rhett's like 6'1". But then it turns out they're actually both like 8 feet tall.
They're both tree people, and that's how they gained their following.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, I think that was definitely another reason why I wasn't enjoying it as much as I could have been, because like I knew Odd Ones Out, I knew Jaden Animations, I knew Rhett and Link. Besides that, I think the only other YouTubers that I knew, I didn't watch their videos, I just like heard their name before. Was like aware that that's a YouTuber.
I'm trying to think. I feel like they're. Oh no, Gabby Hanna was there. I saw Gabby Hanna live too.
Oh wow. Yeah, Gabby Hanna was there.
But I feel like that was at the peak of her mental breakdowns. If I'm being honest, I'm just gonna say this. I'm putting it out there. She came on stage, and it was an audience full of mostly children, and she was going off, not at anybody, but slam poetry style. Fuck the world shit. And I'm just looking around and I'm seeing a bunch of parents' face like, and I'm like, listen, you don't keep up with the Gabby Hanna lore. That's been my word today. The lore.
All the lore.
Yeah, but I mean, I was living for it, but it was awkward at the same time, if I'm being real. But it's okay. I do plenty of awkward shit. Now we're on to Kineticon, and this is funny, and a great transition from here to here. The only reason we went to Kineticon is because the 10th annual VidCon was happening, and I was watching a bunch of people meeting Thomas Sanders and all these other amazing YouTubers, and I felt awful. I entered the Less Than Famous contest, which I did not win. And I was not there, and I was so upset. And my sister was also upset because she wanted to go to another comiccon But that wasn't happening. I don't know. I think we went to the second one of these, and I think it just disappeared off the face of the earth, which is sad because this was a really good convention. Unless they're trying to bring it back. It did not happen in 2019 though, as far as I'm aware of. But then we found out about comiccon, and we were like, what is that? That doesn't have the word comic in it. Do I trust it? I don't know. Because it's just like with convention names that don't really give off what it's about, we were very skeptical. It was just a multi-fandom convention. So it was another Comic-Con, but it was in Connecticut, so it was Connecticut. It was like 45 minutes to an hour away from our hotel, so it was a pain in the ass for my mom. And we decided we were going to go 3 days before we went, so I had to cosplay something easy, but also something I could be into. So I cosplayed as Logan. I know this is Roman, but I'm wearing Tom Sanders merch right now. And it was a blast. The reason why we decided to go here, not only because something to do, but because Zach Callison and Grace Rolak were there. And my conversation with Zach Callison was amazing. I talk about it every day. This is an asshole thing for me to say, but if I was single, we were vibing. We were straight vibing then. Sorry. If I was single, I would have slid the digits. For sure. Sorry. It's crazy because if you ever said anything like that to me, I would be in tears. I'm saying this because you're secure and you don't get jealous over anything. I don't know how he does it. Great day. We sang Old Town Road together. Me and Zach Allison.
I can sing Old Town Road.
Yeah, but are you the voice of Steven Universe?
I could have been.
This was before Steven Universe Future, and they were teasing about it a lot. And another thing I really liked about this is they had drinks. They had themed drinks. I had this green drink that was something about kryptonite or something. It's so funny because I'm like, and there were references that I was excited about. I don't remember what the drink was called, but I certainly felt like an alcoholic nerd while drinking it. I love themes. I don't have to understand them. I jump on board that shit. Some people see right through gimmicks and they hate gimmicks. I live for gimmicks. It's my thing. This was a great convention. What else did I do there? Oh, there was a giant Dance Revolution. That was a convention that had a lot of video games. Just spewed about. So fun. That was a great day. And we didn't even spend the whole day there. I think that was a convention that I spent the least amount of time in. Super fun. Now, moving on to Comic-Con Part 2. This was 2019. Earlier this year. This was the place where they announced Steven Universe Future. That panel, I was in tears. I wasn't cosplayed as anything, but my sister was cosplaying as Spinel. Because the movie just came out that September. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. We met up with my cousin there. We heard about what's happening with Hilda Season 2, which I'm very excited about. I told you about that, right? I was talking with one of the people who actually work for Hilda, for that show.
Like, one of the designers, producers?
I think he helped with the script, actually.
Oh, okay.
And then I also talked with their social media manager, too. And when I talked to that social media manager, it was a 3-second conversation. But I was looking into this girl's eyes, and all I was thinking was, I want your job. I'm going to take your job. No, she was really sweet. Very pretty girl, taking pictures and stuff. And I was like, I want to be a pretty girl taking pictures for a cool cartoon that I like. But yeah, this was super fun. I also vlogged this. Met up with, I already said this, but I met up with Michael there. And he was a total meme at that convention. Did I tell you what he was doing with his friend? I don't think so. He was in a bodysuit from head to toe. And his was labeled Marvel. And his friend was in a bodysuit from head to toe labeled Sony. And they were fighting over a Spider-Man plushie. And plenty of people pulled them over to take pictures of them. Because this was at the height of the whole, what's the rights to Spider-Man? Where are the rights? Where have they gone? Is Marvel still going to be able to use Spider-Man? You know that whole thing?
Maybe?
No? Oh. I would have thought you were on top of that shit. Oh well. Anyways. So those were all my conventions. This is the podcast where I just talk for the whole time. I feel so bad. Ben, I heard that you have gathered some weird conventions that you want to tell me about.
I have gathered a couple unusual conventions that either just sound really bizarre to me or sound like, I wouldn't have thought that existed, but now I want to go. Actually, most of them are in that second category.
I'm about that. Tell me about them.
So the first one I've got, the California Mermaid Convention. If you grew up wishing you'd magically sprout a scaled tail, you're not the only one. At this yearly event, people who come from all over to make their wildest mermaid or merman dreams come true.
Or merperson.
Attendees get decked out in everything from tails to shell bras, and the event includes activities like underwater posing workshops and aquatic photo shoots. Gather around the pool with your fellow aquatic creatures and enjoy a time so fun Ariel might have reconsidered wanting those legs.
That's so cute. They probably have really good food. Hopefully not all seafood. I'm not about seafood. But like, the only thing that turns me off from that convention is I can't imagine that getting a tail that looks good is cheap. I imagine that's quite the investment. Yeah. But it's...
Especially the ones that performers actually wear underwater.
Yeah. You don't want it to sink you. You want to be able to swim in it.
Yeah.
But damn, that sounds fun. I would love to do that.
Alright, this next one is really bizarre.
Tell me about it.
It's the Association of Lincoln Presenters, aka Lincoln. Lincoln.
Okay.
Do you love Honest Abe? Well, the Association of Lincoln Presenters honors our country's 16th president at this annual weekend-long convention that is celebrating its silver 25th year in 2019. Taking place in Georgia's Blue Ridge Mountains.
In the mountains.
Fellow admirers will come together to dress up as Lincoln and his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, for a weekend of Civil War tales and reenactments.
What?
That's just weird.
That's weird. Okay. The thing is, at least Lincoln has an iconic look. I don't know what his wife looks like. That might just be on the education system, not teaching us enough about powerful women. She could be just as badass as Lincoln. But for how long could you talk about Lincoln? The food would taste like shit too, probably. I'm just saying.
Honestly, I don't even know what the food would be. Did they do research to see exactly what food was served at the White House back in Lincoln's time?
I can't imagine that this is a convention that looks anything like the conventions that I went to. There cannot be an expo hall. Can you imagine? You walk into the Lincoln Expo Hall and there's just a stand with a bunch of beards.
It's so weird. Here's one straight from some people's nightmares. The World Clown Association Convention.
Yikes.
While some might find clowns to be the stuff of nightmares, if you're someone who sees the fun of them, this convention is for you.
That's on Sunday.
This year's event will take place in New Mexico, which is a big change from its 2017 location in Thailand. For 4 days, you'll get to watch performances by world-class clowns, take classes on juggling, balloon designs, and laughter yoga, win weird raffle prizes and a hot air balloon ride, and network. Just don't forget your red nose.
Honestly, I wasn't about it at first, but that sounds kind of dope. Juggling lessons.
It does sound fun.
Other than laugh yoga therapy? That sounds terrifying. Other than that, maybe that's super fun too. I don't know. Maybe it just has a shit name. But it sounds fun. The first line, where it's some people are afraid of clowns. Those people are pussies. Whoa. Why so aggressive?
If you're not a coward.
It's let's get this out of the way. That's clownist.
Alright, so this one sounds like it's straight out of my nightmares.
Mhm.
The Vent Haven International Ventriloquist Convention.
You don't like ventriloquism?
Specifically ventriloquist dummies. They creep me out.
I didn't know that about you. Why? You mean those classic ones with like the little like nah 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 nah?
Yeah, I think it's because I probably saw like some TV ad for a horror movie that had like a ventriloquist dummy in it or something.
Huh.
And it just left an impression on me.
That's so weird. Anyway, read more about that.
All right. Do you love ventriloquism but haven't found others who share your enthusiasm? Look no further than Erlanger, Kentucky. I hope I said that right. Just 15 minutes outside of Cincinnati, Erlanger, however you pronounce this name, is home to the annual ventriloquist convention, which includes performances from highly skilled ventriloquists, like Australian stand-up Darren Carr, as well as open mics for newer performers. So it sounds really cool. I just, yeah.
There is a convention for everything. Truly.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It starts off with, have you not met someone who's also into ventriloquism? Which, fair place to start. Because if you're into ventriloquism, I wouldn't even know where to start. It's so nice that we have the internet. There's so many shit things about the internet, but if you need to find your group of people, you are a click away. Whether that's good or bad, actually. The more I think about that, also a scary thought. Anyway, do you have any more?
But like with stuff like ventriloquism, it's like nowadays if you want to learn, you can probably just look it up, and there's probably classes on YouTube by some random guy in his basement.
And that's niche.
Who's like an amazing ventriloquist. But like, imagine before the internet being like, I want to learn ventriloquism. How do you learn that?
Remember that one? Sorry. This just reminded me of one time we were searching up how to use one of those things that are like
Oh, yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah, the jaw harp.
The jaw harp. And it was totally a video like that. Like somebody just in their house chilling. And the guy was so sweet. And then we found out he was dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that was sad.
That was really sad. I still think about that sometimes. I'm just like,
Me too.
he seemed like such a sweet old guy. He just really wanted to teach people how to play the jaw harp.
Yeah.
Which is like, so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one last one.
Tell me about it.
This one's just so funny to me. This sounds like it would be absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm. It's
the Sunburst Convention of Celebrity Impersonators.
Ooh. Ariana Grande's worst nightmare.
Over 150 impersonators come together to impersonate their favorite celebs at this kooky convention that, of course, takes place in Florida. A huge draw to this convention are the classes available to learn techniques on how to be a better impersonator, and the numerous talent agents, buyers, tour companies, casinos, cruise lines, and special events planning companies that attend looking to scoop up new talent for their rosters.
Wow. That's really interesting. What if you're going for, like,
it is
a B-list celebrity, though? You know what I mean? How can you get classes specifically for the celebrity that you are trying to be?
I feel like the impersonation classes, they'd probably be closer to, like, remember, like, freshman or sophomore year, when we got that assignment that we had to impersonate one of our class members.
More on how to take observations.
And then, like, walk into the room as them.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine it's going to be kind of like that, like, just, like, noticing, like, and taking apart different mannerisms that people have.
Yeah.
How they walk, where they hold their center of gravity.
It's very interesting. I think celebrity impersonation...
Like what kind of dialect they speak with.
I think celebrity impersonation is such a strange but cool... I want to call it an art form. You're trying to transform into this person. People think it comes effortlessly to these people. Like, if you are born looking like someone, obviously, you got lucky in that regard. But you have to notice how they laugh. You have to notice their sense of humor. You have to notice...
Yeah.
You're doing a character study of an actual person.
Yeah. It's acting. It's just not like the traditional way that we think of it.
It's for sure acting.
But it is acting.
I didn't know that there were talent agents for that. When you said that, I was like, that's really cool.
It makes sense now.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah, totally. Especially for an area like Las Vegas. That's a thing there.
Oh, yeah.
Britney impersonators, Elvis impersonators. That's like their staple.
Yeah.
There's
the Church of Elvis, I think, where you can actually get married.
Yeah, that was a plot line in Friends, I believe.
Oh, really?
But anyways, yeah, I think so. That's where Rachel and Ross got married was it their first time? They were so on and off. They were a mess. But anyways, there's probably a Friends convention.
No, probably.
Dead ass. Like, I was thinking about when you said talent agents, I'm like, wow, what a great opportunity to network. Like, VidCon, there's so many YouTubers, so it's a little hard. And talent agents for YouTubers, it's not for the people who have the best YouTube channel. They want to take people who already have that following, which is unfortunate. It's not like, because I feel like with actors, you can have agents at any size. I feel like social media agents need to start taking on smaller talent.
Yeah.
If they invest in teaching them, like, oh yeah, I have connections with YouTube, if I pull some strings. You know what I mean? If you have the connection, but you don't have the drive or talent or personality to be a YouTube personality, why wouldn't you take someone on who you think, like, oh, I've seen people grow before, you got the stuff, kid. Has it just not been around for enough years for people to know who to invest in? There are actors who become big because of the people that they work with. From what I hear, as a YouTuber, you're an individual person. You have to get lucky or gain that following yourself, and then people reach out to you. And at that point, it's like, yes, you're going to help me book gigs. That's more manager than agent. But it's like, I already have the connections I need at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was an area like that at VidCon with talent agents and stuff. But it's just people telling me about thumbnails and stuff. No, I'm kidding. There's more stuff to learn. I obviously don't know everything, but I wish there was that too. There's Broadway Con, where I know it's mostly performances, but I wonder if they have talent agents there for young actors too. Now I'm just salty. Like, I'm like, damn, I wish I was a celebrity impersonator, because not that I think it's easy, it's probably not, but a convention, like a thing that you can pay to go to be exposed to people who can help you in your career, that's like fun and practical.
Yeah.
I can convince myself all I want that I can watch all of the professionals at work, but that doesn't mean I'm going to have a connection with them. It's still a nice opportunity, but definitely have to hustle a bit more than Celebrity Impersonation Con. I'm so salty about it. Ben, if there was any convention that you wish would exist, what would you want it to be about?
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez, that is really hard to think of, actually.
I have a few ideas myself. This probably already exists, but some kind of like World Cultures Convention Day. In my middle school, we had a thing called, I'm blanking. Anyway, it was this huge event that we would always hold that we learned about different parts of the world. You can get henna in this area. You can get food from Greece in this and this and this place. You can learn how to decorate a fan. Just so much fun.
Yeah.
And if you have
there's the World's Fair, which is pretty famous. It's a large international exhibition designed to showcase achievements of nations. These exhibitions vary in character and are held in different parts of the world at a specific site for a period of time, ranging usually from 3 to 6 months.
But different... Oh, so you get to travel to the place too. That's fun. What's the difference between a fair and a convention? I mean, I guess you wouldn't have... Like, for celebrating people's cultures, you wouldn't have, like, a speaker in, like, the traditional convention... I mean, I guess you could. I'm just pondering now what this would look like. Unity Fair. That's what it was called. Sorry. My school had a Unity Fair, and it was one of my favorite things ever. So much so that I forgot the name, but sorry, it's very late. This is the latest we've ever filmed an episode. I would like that. I would also like... There's definitely conventions for different types of foods. But I want to go not as a chef. I just want to go as an eater. I want like a Guy Fieri convention where I get to be Guy Fieri. That probably exists.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have my frosted tips and I want to go around eating everything. I'm not joking. You're laughing, but it's not a joke. This is my passion.
You're dead serious about this.
I'm so dead ass. Don't even make me say it. I'm gonna look up Guy Fieri convention. So you had plenty of time to think. What convention do you want to exist, Ben?
That's the thing, is that like I feel like everything that I'm interested in, there is already a convention for. It's like video games. I know there's a bunch of different conventions because I used to watch like live streams of like E3 back in the day.
That exists, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm saying like there's.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying I've watched live streams from video gaming conventions.
I was a little distracted because fiericon exists.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just putting that out there. Sorry. I think the first one happened in 2019. Obviously, the 2021 is not happening.
Well,
but as soon as the 2021 one comes out, I am there. It's Guy Fieri, fiericon, Guy Fieri bar crawl. Bars, routes, what to wear, photos. Let me see some of the photos from this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh! Was the actual Guy Fieri there? No, it's just a bunch of... Let me show you this, Ben. Ben, look at these pictures from fiericon.
Oh my god.
Just a bunch of people in a bar drinking as Guy Fieri. Okay, so that's not exactly what I meant. I meant more of the eating aspect of it. But shit, I'll go to a Guy Fieri bar crawl. That sounds awesome. Sorry, I cut you off again.
This already exists, but I'd love to go to like a horror movie convention. I know there's a couple different ones.
Oh yeah, that totally exists. At one of the conventions that I went to, sorry, it just reminded me of something that I saw there that you would be so into. Which one was it? I believe it was the one at Foxwoods, the comiccon. They had the Little Shop of Horrors plant, I believe.
Oh man.
Yeah, so super cool stuff.
I've heard of a couple different ones. I know there's Universal Studios in Florida has Halloween Horror Nights. There is Texas Frightmare.
Ooh, that one sounds fun. I want to go to Texas too.
Yeah.
I feel like if we go to a horror convention, first of all, obviously not as much my cup of tea as it is yours, but we gotta go decked out in the special effects makeup. That's just a given. That's just a given. We gotta just teach ourselves and do it. What would you want to go as in one of those conventions? Because as much as you want to be creepy, you also want to do something that's practical, so you probably wouldn't want to like cover your mouth.
Well, I think a lot of these conventions also, like, parts of the convention area are kind of like those, they have actors that are, like, fully decked out in, like, horror makeup and all that, who are there to, like, kind of scare you.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if, going, like, suit all decked out and everything would be a great idea. But, well, I think it depends, probably.
I don't think that's real.
But no, I would totally want to. Who would I want to go as?
I would probably want to do some kind of original character, some OC that I can design myself.
Oh, actually, I would want to go as the character Ash Williams from the Evil Dead series.
I don't know that person.
Oh man, I gotta show you some horror movies.
Okay.
Evil Dead's a lot of fun. It's very cheesy.
Okay. Is it like Beavis and Clevis?
Oh, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Thank you.
I love that you always call it Beavis and Clevis.
Do I actually? Every time
That's
I do
like
it, I
the third time
rediscover
you've
it.
said
Are you? There's no way I've said Beavis and Clevis before. I feel like I've said different names every time.
No, you said Beavis and Cleavis specifically. I remember that.
That's so stupid. Let's go to the Beavis and Cleavis convention.
Yeah, Evil Dead isn't quite that comedy-ish, but it's like you've seen Cabin in the Woods, right? What? Okay, I don't know why I keep thinking that you've seen Cabin in the Woods. But so Evil Dead is where Cabin in the Woods gets the idea of a cabin in the woods. Mm-hmm. Because it's about a group of college students. Ash Williams is one of them, who go to a cabin in the woods, and then they accidentally awaken a demon by playing a tape recorder that recites verses from the Necronomicon, and then they all slowly start.
That's another convention.
One by one, getting Necronomicon. Honestly, there probably is a Necronomicon-themed convention somewhere.
I can't.
But one by one, they all start turning into demons themselves and getting possessed. As the series goes on, it gets more and more tongue-in-cheek. Like, the first one is, like, it's very serious and very much trying to take itself seriously as a horror movie, so it's trying really hard to be scary. But it's super low budget.
Wait, I watched the kill count of this with you.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I say I don't like horror, but I can totally do horror. I watch Stranger Things and Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Those are horror, right?
Yeah. Honestly, Black Mirror especially is like, that leaves me feeling a lot more icky and scared than most horror movies I've watched.
Because it's so real. Mm-hmm. It explores the horror in humanity.
Yeah.
And not just with, a serial killer, which is obviously one extreme that people don't usually think of a lot.
Yeah.
With Black Mirror, it's, Black Mirror convention. Where you get to see, like, tech demos, like fake tech demos that, like, creep you out in real life. It's like the Black Museum in real life, but the inventions are just made to look real and they don't actually do the stuff, hopefully. Oh my god. Imagine a Black Mirror convention that starts as, like, just fans of the show, and then as it progresses, it turns into, like, actually selling these things to people.
Oh, jeez.
That would be in true Black Mirror fashion. So, do I want it to happen? Yes, but only the first half of that. But it's inevitable. Like,
that's like the Black Mirror equivalent of those other I don't even know if they're really conventions, but it's like those things where you get to you go out into like the woods and you camp out, and it's kind of like an escape room almost, but really intense, where they'll like
on an episode of Black Mirror?
No. These are like real world convention things.
Oh, that's like the YouTube video that we saw about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, this whole episode is us being like, yeah, that other thing that we saw that one time. Like, I don't know how interesting this is going to be for other people to watch.
This is what happens when we record this late, is we get so sidetracked by everything.
This whole episode, we're like, oh yeah, the jaw whistle. Oh yeah, that YouTube video that we saw of that guy who did the horror maze and then it went wrong. And we think people are going to follow this and be like, yeah, we know what they're talking about. But I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
A Black Mirror escape room? Sorry, now you just made me think of a whole other thing. That's also terrifying. The thing is, do I want Black Mirror themed things? Yes. But do I want to know that it'll stay contained? Yes. And that's impossible with a concept like that. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to take it as it is without thinking of the actual moral ambiguity of the show and just take it too far. It's inevitable. You can... I love Black Mirror. When's the next season coming out?
Oh man, I don't know.
That took a turn.
Conventions are great. Let's, someday in the future, let's do, like, Halloween Horror Nights or something.
Absolutely. I'm down for any convention. I mean, I am going to VidCon now. I believe I am going to vlog that for my main channel, Athena P, so definitely check that out. But as soon as VidCon is up again, I'm going, like, to the actual convention, IRL convention. And I just can't wait to get back out there. there's a lot of things that need fixing, obviously, so I'm not going to say I can't wait for life to go back to normal, but in the regard that we can go outside, yeah, I would like that back. Hey, can I have it back? A vaccine convention, where we all get vaccines, and then we can go to other conventions.
That's a good one. I like that one. I like that.
A pew pew pew. Anyways, we don't have a sign-off still. See you next week where we talk about some other stuff.
Get out of here. Go do something. I don't know.
Tonight I discovered that Ben is afraid of ventriloquism.
Just the dummies.
So you must be super afraid of me. Ew. I roasted myself. I should have... Wait, why didn't I say you? Why did I say, are you afraid of yourself? Why did I could have roasted you, but I roasted myself. Okay. Good night. I gotta sleep. Sleep con.
Good night.